What's up, YouTube? I am the Fan of Steel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you guys are joining me here today as we talk about the latest installment in the monster universe. Yes, this is Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This is my non-spoiler review for this movie. Just came out this weekend, and I just wanted to give you guys my quick thoughts on this movie. Now, when you're going into a Godzilla movie or any kind of a kaiju monster movie, you're not really expecting a whole lot as far as story elements and acting. You're wanting some big monster fights. And I will say that although I enjoyed the first Godzilla movie that we got from 2014, I thought it was good, and I also enjoyed Kong Skull Island. I will say that this one definitely ups the scale, and it also ups the action and the big monster action. So I feel like it delivered a lot of what we were expecting. Now, it did good on it. I have to say I still wanted a little bit more, but I'm satisfied with what I got. I want to start off here though with the cons, the things that didn't work for me. First of all, um, although the story is very basic, which that's fine, I felt like the characters and the motivations for everything were kind of all over the place. Which that's not that big of a deal in this kind of a movie because again, you're there for big, the blockbuster scenes, you're there for the destruction and the mayhem. But it did kind of bother me a little bit because some of the stuff that happened didn't make a whole lot of sense. There was a lot of unnecessary stuff that ended up happening, and honestly, I think this would have been a much better movie, in my opinion, had they cut out some of the stuff that's in the middle of the movie. Because I will be honest, a little bit into it, I kind of started getting a little bit fatigued and wanted it to be just like, all right, let's get to it. I felt like there was a lot of repetitiveness in the middle of the same things happening over and over again, and you just wanted to get to the big fights, and you were living for the next big fight, which it is sprinkled throughout the entire movie. It's not like you're waiting the entire movie for one big payoff. There is elements and monster elements throughout the movie. They did a good job of doing that. But the human elements, and there was some decent acting in there. It's just it felt a little bit convoluted, I'll say that. It felt a little bit convoluted, and it felt, like I say, I felt like it dragged kind of in the middle, and the pacing was a little all over the place. Those are the big cons that I will give it, and the things that probably bothered me the most. So let's go ahead and get into the pros, because those were really my only cons. The pros: if you like action, and if you like monster movies, and you like sci-fi, this is the movie for you to go and just geek out on. This is fantastic and totally delivers on just the delicious destruction and monster mayhem that you would expect out of a Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I have to say, King Ghidorah is legit in this movie. I love King Ghidorah, and I thought his part in this movie was great. He was awesome, and the special effects were great. Also, I really love that they did mention, even though they did mention Kong. They did mention Kong a couple times, and they did mention Skull Island, which is nice. And that kind of goes into another thing that I thought was a big pro for this movie. Even though it wasn't super strong with the story and the story was basic, they did a really good job expanding the world and the lore and the mythology of these creatures, and I love that. I'm a big sucker for that kind of stuff in movies where that, ancient civilizations and this has been around for forever, and just going in and explaining all the lore and the mythology of different creatures and everything like that. They did a really good job with that, and they did a really good job world building. Although I will say, after seeing this, I am very. It has upped my hype for Godzilla vs. Kong. I was already excited for that movie, but I will say I'm even more excited for it now after seeing this. But I am a little bit curious how they're going to do it and how they're going to make it fit. So, overall, I really did find this movie enjoyable for what it was, and I will say the last 20 minutes of this movie is crazy awesome. It's great. So, you get a lot of monster moments throughout the movie, but those last 20 minutes, you really get a good payoff, and I feel like the movie ended strongly. I thought it had a good first act, a kind of weak middle act, and then it ended really, really strongly in the third act. So overall, I'd have to say I would probably give this about a 6 out of 10. I would definitely recommend going to see it, especially if you've already been interested in it. It's a very summer blockbustery movie. I would kind of compare it to Rampage from last year with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I would compare it similarly to that, as far as not a whole lot of story elements, but really good action, really good destruction, and just mayhem. I thought it was a lot of. If you go in there understanding that it is going to be fairly basic as far as the story, then I think you'll go walk out having a good time and just enjoy it for what it is. But those are my thoughts on Godzilla King of the Monsters. I want to know what you guys think about this movie. Let me know in the comment section down below. Have you seen it yet? Did you enjoy it? Are you looking forward? Let me know all those things down in the comment section below, and also make sure you go and like our Facebook page at The Real Fan of Steel, or just The Fan of Steel. That'll do it for me, guys. Remember, keep geeking out.